What's up guys, it's Lord Both here for another video, and in the future, when Disney, which I assume will still exist in some capacity years on from now, but when someone says, hey, maybe we should make original TV content for Disney and release it on whatever they want to release it on. If Disney Plus still exists, if they just have their television channels, whatever they want to do, however they want to release it. But somebody says, let's make original live action TV. The executive in response is going to point to this era, point to the live action shows that are streaming, the originals that are streaming on Disney Plus right now, and say, hey, we tried that once. It was an epic catastrophe. We're not doing that again. Because at this point, we have to come to the conclusion that Disney live action series, whether it's Marvel or Star Wars, it's just a bust. Nobody wants to watch it. Why do I say that? Well, you may remember after the first week of Daredevil being out, Disney came out and said, oh, Daredevil Born Again launches with 7.5 million views on Disney Plus. 7.5 million, that's a big number, right? Well, in actuality, it turned out that was really bad. Like lower numbers than Agatha and the Acolyte bad. Well, now it's been a month since the first episodes premiered, and the Nielsen charts have came out on it. Nielsen, of course, is the gold standard when it comes to TV ratings, who's tuning into what, and they put their top 10 list out after a month of something being out. And after they put out that list, this article came out from Cosmic Book News entitled Daredevil Flops, Born Again Misses Nielsen Charts. Sorry folks, as suspected, the 2-episode premiere of Daredevil Born Again doesn't appear on the Nielsen rating charts, confirming suspicions that the viewership for the series is low compared to Echo, Agatha, among the worst MCU shows on Disney Plus, alongside Ms. Marvel and She-Hulk. Everything mentioned there, by the way, were massive L's for Disney. By the way, they're not even comparing this to Star Wars shows because even the Acolyte had higher ratings than this show. And none of this makes sense, right? Because Daredevil was adapted from the Netflix show, right? Supposed to be a continuation of that. Everybody was excited for that. People loved the Netflix Daredevil show. But apparently, they didn't like the idea of Disney doing the Netflix Daredevil show. And maybe they didn't like what they saw on the trailers, etc. because it wasn't enough to actually bring people in. And from the word of mouth being put out there, both by people who have seen the show in other people's lives and YouTube commentators, let's be honest, the show hasn't exactly had glowing reviews. Agatha, when it premiered, actually did make the Nielsen charts with a 426 million minutes watched with its 2-episode premiere, but we see if Agatha was released the same week as Daredevil Born Again, Agatha wouldn't have been listed. So Agatha had less competition is what they're trying to say. Also, Agatha had a 7-day release before numbers were compiled versus Daredevil having a 5-day release before numbers were compiled. So if we extend that to 7 days, it probably made around the same numbers as Agatha. Which is wild because the most lay Marvel fans know who Daredevil is. A lot of lay Marvel fans don't know who Agatha Harkness is. She's kind of a D-tier character. And the fact that she even got her own show was just weird. And it was literally done probably just because it got turned into a meme when they did WandaVision. And here you can see this is the actual Nielsen ratings from that time. Reacher up there at number 1 for Prime Video. In fact, nothing on this overall list is from Disney except Bluey, which is on Disney Plus. And I do have to say, Bluey is an absolutely amazing show, worth the viewing if you're a parent, if you want your kids to have some good kids television. And it is quite literally the only thing holding Disney Plus up at this point. That isn't just Hulu. And in case you're wondering, no, Daredevil didn't even make the top 10 of originals. The crazy thing about this is, if anything was going to work for Disney as a television show, it had to be them adapting an already successful Netflix show with a fairly at least recognizable, if not also popular Marvel character, and giving him some redemption after they completely ruined him with his She-Hulk cameos, where he was essentially a booty call. But this was supposed to be the sure win. This was what's supposed to get people to actually come and watch. Even if it wasn't good, it had enough positivity around it to drive people to actually come and watch the show because they were curious, they liked the Netflix show, they wanted to see a continuation of that story, of those characters. But even that hasn't worked. And now this thing is making less numbers than Agatha and the Acolyte. Things that people didn't see. And the people who did see it, especially the Acolyte, were doing it to make fun of it and laugh at it. And the worst part about this is that Disney, they have Ironheart right around the corner. If this show isn't going to drive any measurable amount of people to Disney Plus to view it, what hope does Ironheart have? If this show can only get 7.5 million people to tune in for the first 2 episodes over a week, I'm going to be surprised if Ironheart hits 1.5 or even 1 million views, because that's the only way I can compute these numbers. Ironheart doesn't have any of the things Daredevil has. Ironheart wasn't liked in the comics, doesn't have any real legacy value to her, already has the stink of DEI and Disney and all that on it, and quite honestly, everything we've seen come out promotionally for it looks bad, and the show's been in development hell for years. If Disney was smart, they'd give it the Batgirl treatment. Just can it and shove it away somewhere. And the fact that they're not tells me that they have some kind of punitive financial reason for having to put it out. Because quite honestly, it's not going to be worth the server space it's going to take up for them. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it, and we'll talk to you again later.